Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited today to show you one of the amazing tips or tricks that I've discovered uh, that you could use within Excel. So what this is with this video I'm going to show you how you can use the normal data validation tool and use it in a reverse order. I'll explain that to you in the examples that I do have. Please do not forget to press the subscribe and bell button as well as the thumbs up, so in future you can receive notifications whenever I post a new video for you guys. Now if we look at the screen on the first sheet, I'm going to explain to you how we use the data validation in a normal way. For example, I have a cell G5, and in that cell I would like to enter a date that is earlier or equal than today. In the next cell I want to create a drop down button from a list of products, so when you click in this specific cell a drop down button will appear and you can select from the list. The last example would be a text length example. In this cell, I would like a user to enter characters of 6 or less characters, exactly 6 characters. So if he enters anything other than 5 characters or 10 characters, he will get an error message. Now, how can I force a user to do this? I will use a tool called data validation in Excel. So with this sheet I want to show you how you normally use the data validation tool. You would set up the rules beforehand, send off the mail to a user, and he will then complete the information, and as he completes the information these error messages might appear. So it's a great tool to use to make sure that a user enters exactly what you want within the spreadsheet. Because that is usually a problem when you do data analysis afterwards. Some information is incorrect, some products are spelled incorrectly or differently. So when you do a filter, you find 3 of the same items spelled incorrectly. So let me first show you how you would use it in a normal way. So I would click in the cell where I want the rule to be applied. For example, the first one, I'm going to click in cell G5. I'm going to go to data, and on the data tab I have a button which says data validation. I click on the button, I say data validation, and it gives me an input screen. There are 3 options available. Settings, this is where you will enter the actual setting for the data. Input message, this is where you will enter a message that will appear as the user click in the empty cell to guide him from what to do. The error alert is the message that will appear as soon as he enters the data incorrectly. Now for this example, I said we wanted a date, today and earlier. So let's go to the settings. On the settings I have a drop down, and I would say it's going to be a date function, and it should be less than or equal, and I'm going to use the Excel formula today bracket. This will check the Windows date on your system, and obviously this will change for tomorrow and the day after that. Let's give this person an input message. I'm just going to say please note and enter a date today or earlier. If he makes an error, I'm going to give him an error message, a heading, and I'm going to say you used a date in the future. And okay, let's test this. So as I click in the cell, the message appear, the input message, please note enter date today or earlier. Let's try the 1st of January, and it's quite happy with that. Now to date is the 10th of October, so let's try a 15th of October date, and immediately it comes back with an error message saying you used a date in the future. I retry, and let's say the 7th of October, and it is happy with the entry. The next one I want to show you how to set up is a drop down list. So it's always a good idea to have the drop down list somewhere on your sheet, maybe in a column that you will hide so the users do not see the actual drop down list. So let's say we use apples, pears and grapes. Those items should be in my drop down list. So once again, I click in the cell where I want the data validation. I go data validation. First of all is asking for a settings. I enter, I say it's going to be a list. It's going to move it out of the way. It's going to ask me where is the list. I click in that box and I select the list from screen. Now in this case, I'm not going to give him an input message or an error alert because he will immediately find the drop down list. You don't need to guide him. So I click OK. I click inside the cell and there appears a drop down list, and I can just select the specific product. This helps a lot when you've got a product list and you want to prevent people from making any typing errors or spelling errors. The next one is a length option. Maybe you've got codes and the code should specifically be 6 characters long. So I click in the cell, go to data validation, see what is available, and it says a text length, and I say it should be equal to, and we decided on 6 characters. Input message, can just once again say please note only 6 characters allowed. We're going to give him an error alert as well, and we can say too many characters and enter, and let's test it. I click in the cell, it says only 6 characters allowed. Let's try 3 characters. 1 2 3. Get an error alert saying too many characters. I retry and let's go for 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6, and it is very happy with that input. Now this is the way that you would normally use data validation. What I'm going to do today is show you a way where you can use data validation once you receive the data back from a user, and then apply the data validation to show you any errors in the spreadsheet. On this sheet, you will see I have already completed information. So imagine you were not aware of the data validation tool, so you sent this information off or spreadsheet to a user, and you then ask him to complete the data. And once you receive the file back, you want to apply the data validation to show you the actual errors in the spreadsheet. For example, I have a list here of date entries. I have a list of product entries. I also have a list of codes, which is a text length. So for these dates, I would like to show the dates that are not, let's say for example, from February to March. So the person was only allowed to enter dates in February and March. So obviously these two at the top and these two at the bottom are incorrect data. Now it's easy to pick them up immediately because we only have 6 or 7 rows of data, but you might have 10,000 rows of data and you want to check the dates from the 1st of February to the end of March. Here as well, you can immediately see or notice that apples is spelled incorrectly. The same here with pears. So once again, a small list, easy to pick up the error entries, but once again, if it's a list of 10 or 20,000 products, it would be very difficult to pick up those error messages. Here I've entered a list of the correct entries that I want to use to check the other list with. I have here another example where we've got product codes and we specifically want them of 5 characters long. So let's do the first one. I'm going to select the range that I want to test. I'm going to go to data validation. I'm going to set up a data validation. I'm not going to use input or error messages now. I just want to use the settings tab. I'm going to say it must be a date, and it must be between the 1st of February and let's say the 31st of March. That's all I'm going to do. As I click OK, nothing happens. That's cool for now. Let's do the product one. I select the list of products I want to test. Go to data validation. I say it should have come from a list. The list you can find here. And OK. Once again, nothing happens. Text length. I go again to data validation. I say it should be of a text length. And I say equal to, and we decided on 5. Great. And you might say, but nothing happens. I still do not see the errors. But this is now where the magic kicks in. Once I've set up these rules on top of the incorrect data, all I need to do is I go to the data validation button, and there's an option to circle the invalid data. And look at this magic. As soon as I click that, all the incorrected data is highlighted on screen. I can immediately see the dates, not between the 1st of February and end of March. I can see the incorrectly spelled products. I can also see the product codes that are not a text length of 5. This is such an amazing way to use the data validation. Guys, please remember to press the subscribe and bell button and also the thumbs up. And I hope you've learned something great today, especially now that you're aware of the data validation tool and you might have received a file with thousands of entries and you quickly need to check for errors. This is an easy way to find those errors. Thanks for watching. Chat soon.